The screen opens not with light, but with a dense, suffocating green darkness. The air is thick, heavy with the scent of wet earth, decaying vegetation, and the sweet, intoxicating perfume of orchids blooming hundreds of feet above. This is the heart of the Amazon rainforest, a colossal, living cathedral of biodiversity that stretches across millions of square miles, driven by the rhythmic heartbeat of the world's most powerful river system. Here, the sun rarely touches the forest floor, filtering instead through a dense, multi-layered canopy that creates an eternal, emerald-tinted twilight. Every square inch of this environment is packed with life, a complex, vertical metropolis where millions of species engage in a relentless, silent struggle for light, space, and survival. The soundscape of the early morning is an overwhelming, multi-layered wall of sound that defines the Amazonian dawn. High above, in the emergent layer, where giant kapok trees pierce the sky like ancient sentinels, a troop of red howler monkeys begins their morning ritual. Their deep, resonant roars carry for miles through the misty canopy, a guttural, wind-like howling that vibrates through the damp air, warning neighboring troops of their territory. Below them, hidden within the tangle of bromeliads and lianas, thousands of insects, tree frogs, and birds add their voices to the chorus, creating a deafening, rhythmic symphony that signals the beginning of another day in the world's largest rainforest. As the morning mist begins to clear, a low-angle tracking view along a moss-covered buttress route reveals a column of millions of leafcutter ants. They move with absolute discipline along a well-worn highway on the forest floor, each ant carrying a jagged piece of bright green leaf several times its own weight. The leaf fragments look like a miniature green caravan moving through the dark leaf litter. The sound here is a microscopic, dry rustling of thousands of tiny mandibles slicing through vegetation and the soft scratching of armored legs against soil. These ants do not eat the leaves. Instead, they carry them deep into their subterranean chambers to cultivate a specialized fungus that feeds the colony, illustrating the incredible complexity of life at ground level. The focus shifts from the dark forest floor up into the sun-drenched canopy, where a pair of magnificent scarlet macaws glides gracefully through the branches of a Brazil nut tree. Their brilliant red, yellow, and blue plumage catches the intense morning light, creating a stunning explosion of color against the deep green backdrop. The birds let out sharp, raucous screeches as they land on a high branch, their powerful, hooked beaks effortlessly crushing the rock-hard shell of a wild seed. The mechanical cracking of the seed coat and the soft rustle of their feathers as they preen each other reveal a moment of avian partnership in a world where cooperation is often just as important as competition. While the canopy is alive with color and movement, the understory below remains a realm of stealth and absolute patience. A female jaguar, her rosette coat providing perfect camouflage against the dappled light, stalks silently through a patch of wild heliconias. She moves with a fluid, liquid grace, her padded paws sinking into the wet mud without making a single sound. Her amber eyes are locked on a small group of white-lipped peccaries foraging near a slow-moving forest creek. The gentle brushing of broad leaves against her sleek fur and the steady, rhythmic puffing of her breath create a tense, quiet atmosphere as she positions herself for ambush. Suddenly, the silence is shattered as the peccaries catch her scent, releasing a sharp, musky odor and letting out frantic, clicking grunts with their teeth as they scatter into the dense undergrowth. The jaguar freezes, her muscles tense, evaluating the situation before abandoning the hunt with a low, frustrated growl. In the Amazon, Even the apex predator must accept that success is never guaranteed, and the energy required for a hunt must be calculated with absolute precision to ensure long-term survival. The creek she was patrolling feeds into a wider, blackwater tributary of the Amazon River, where the water is the color of dark tea, stained by the tannins of fallen leaves. Beneath the glass-like surface, a completely different world exists, one dominated by ancient and specialized predators. A massive black caiman, stretching over 15 feet in length, floats motionless near the flooded roots of a giant rubber tree. Only its dark, armored eyes and nostrils break the surface, perfectly mimicking a rotting log. The water around it is still, reflecting the dense canopy above, but beneath the surface, its massive, muscular tail adjusts its position with a slow, powerful sweep, creating a subtle underwater ripple. Further down the river channel, where the current slows into a wide, shallow lagoon, a family of giant river otters is engaged in a highly vocal and energetic fish hunt. These 6-foot-long carnivores, known as the wolves of the river, swim with incredible speed and agility, their webbed feet and flattened tails driving them through the dark water. The sound design of this moment is a lively, high-frequency mix of sharp, bird-like chirps, low growls, and the constant, explosive splashing of water as they surface with large, armored catfish in their jaws. They tear into their prey with sharp teeth, the crunch of bone and cartilage echoing across the quiet lagoon. As the midday sun reaches its peak, the temperature rises dramatically, turning the rainforest into a vast, oppressive greenhouse. The humidity reaches near saturation levels, forcing many of the larger animals into inactivity. In the middle canopy, a brown-throated three-toed sloth hangs upside down from a cecropia branch, completely motionless. Its long, coarse fur is tinged with green, a unique symbiotic relationship with algae that helps it blend perfectly into the foliage. The only sign of life is the incredibly slow, deliberate movement of its head as it reaches for a single green leaf. A masterclass in energy conservation in an environment where nutrients can be difficult to digest. Near the sloth's tree, inside the hollow trunk of a decaying palm, a female green anaconda rests after shedding her skin. She is a titan of the swamps, her thick, muscular body coiled tightly in the shadows. The low-angle view captures the incredible texture of her olive-green scales and the subtle, rhythmic expansion of her ribcage as she breathes. The air inside the hollow trunk is thick and silent, save for the occasional, soft scraping of her scales against the wood as she adjusts her weight, waiting for the cooler hours of the afternoon to return to the water. The afternoon begins to transition as massive, dark storm clouds accumulate rapidly over the horizon, a daily occurrence in this watery wilderness. The bright green canopy is cast into a dramatic, high-contrast shadow as the sun is obscured by the advancing front. The wind picks up, causing the topmost branches of the giant trees to sway violently, sending a shower of dry leaves and bromeliad water down to the forest floor. The sound of the approaching rain is a distant, low-frequency roar, a wave of sound that moves across the jungle like a solid wall. When the rain hits, it comes down with a fierce, torrential intensity that reshapes the landscape in minutes. The heavy drops strike the thick, waxy leaves of the canopy with a loud, rhythmic clattering that completely drowns out all animal vocalizations. Water sheets down the trunk of every tree, filling the aerial reservoirs of bromeliads and turning the forest floor into a network of rushing, muddy streams. From the safety of a broad palm frond, a tiny poison dart frog, no larger than a human fingernail, lets out a high-pitched, metallic trill. Its brilliant blue and black body glistens with the freshly arrived moisture, a visual warning to any predator that its skin contains deadly toxins. The rain stops as quickly as it started, leaving the forest dripping, steamy, and alive with renewed energy. Along a sandy riverbank exposed by the falling tide, hundreds of colorful butterflies, including brilliant blue morphos and yellow sulfur butterflies, gather to drink mineral-rich water from the damp sand. They form a pulsing, vibrating carpet of color, their wings catching the low afternoon sun. When a large yellow-spotted river turtle climbs onto the bank to bask, its heavy shell creating a soft thud against the sand, the butterflies erupt into the air, creating a spectacular, silent cloud of iridescent color. The turtle is joined by dozens of others, all seeking the remaining warmth of the day. But they're not alone on the beach. From the edge of the cane grass, a family of capybaras, the world's largest rodents, emerges to graze on the river vegetation. They move with a heavy, deliberate gait, their blunt noses sniffing the air for signs of danger. The soundscape here is a gentle mix of the soft lapping of the river water against the sand, the wet chewing of grass, and the occasional, low clicking purr of the capybara pups as they stay close to their mothers. As the sun begins its final descent, painting the western sky in deep shades of violet and crimson, the Amazon River itself becomes a highway of light. A pod of pink river dolphins, or bottis, emerges from the dark waters, their unique, unfused neck vertebrae allowing them to navigate through the submerged root systems of the flooded forest with ease. They surface with a soft, misty puff from their blowholes, their pale pink skin glowing in the twilight. The underwater view reveals their eerie, prehistoric appearance as they use echolocation to find fish among the tangled branches, a series of rapid, metallic clicks that travel through the dark water column. The transition from day to night in the rainforest is a sudden, dramatic shift in power. The diurnal birds and monkeys fall silent, and the true rulers of the night emerge from their hiding places. The air becomes alive with the steady, hypnotic drone of nocturnal katydids and the deep, repetitive croaking of giant cane toads along the muddy banks. Through the use of advanced low-light optics, the secret world of the nocturnal Amazon is revealed in stunning detail. On the branch of a wild cacao tree, a common patoo sits perfectly still, its mottled gray and brown feathers making it look exactly like a broken stump. It opens its massive, gaping yellow mouth to catch a passing hawk moth, the sudden, silent snap of its beak the only indication of its presence. Below it, on the forest floor, a giant tarantula emerges from its silk-lined burrow. Its hairy, powerful legs move with cautious precision over the leaf litter, its sensitive hairs detecting the minute vibrations of a small forest mouse foraging nearby. The soft, dry rustle of the spider's movement is almost imperceptible, a tiny ghost navigating a world of shadows. Deep within the flooded forest, known as the Agapo, the night brings a different kind of intensity. A young male jaguar has entered the water, swimming silently through the flooded trees in search of a meal. The water comes up to his shoulders, his powerful chest muscles driving him forward with a smooth, silent breaststroke. The low-angle tracking shot shows his head cutting through the dark water, creating a small, silent V-shaped wake. He spots an emerald tree boa coiled around a low branch overhanging the water. The cat tenses, his paws finding purchase on a submerged log, preparing to strike in a landscape where the boundaries between land and water are completely blurred. With the return of the dawn, the forest reveals the incredible interconnectedness of its inhabitants. On a massive, floating leaf of the Victoria amazonica water lily, which can grow up to 10 feet in diameter, A small jacana bird walks effortlessly on its long, splayed toes. The bird searches for small insects along the giant, spine-covered edges of the riverbed. The sound here is the gentle, rhythmic lapping of water against the massive leaf and the soft, liquid plop of a fish jumping nearby. Beneath the lily pads, the water is a haven for hundreds of species of small fish, including schools of red-bellied piranhas that move in tight, defensive formations through the aquatic vegetation. The piranhas are highly misunderstood, operating mostly as scavengers and cautious hunters rather than the mindless monsters of myth. They swim with a rapid, nervous energy, their razor-sharp teeth glinting as they feed on a fallen fruit that is dropped from an overhanging wild fig tree. The structural snap of the fruit breaking apart in the water and the rapid, mechanical chewing of the fish create a distinct, underwater soundscape that is vital to the dispersal of seeds throughout the river system. High above the river, in the mid-canopy of a giant mahogany tree, a female harpy eagle sits on her massive nest, constructed from hundreds of thick branches. She is one of the most powerful birds of prey in the world, her talons the size of a grizzly bear's claws. She prepares to feed her single chick, her intense, gray-eyed gaze locked onto a troop of squirrel monkeys moving through a nearby fruit tree. The soundscape transitions to a focused, high-tension silence, broken only by the whistling of the wind through her primary feathers as she launches herself into the air, a shadow of absolute dominance moving through the green canopy. The squirrel monkeys are alerted by a sharp, panoramic alarm call from their lookouts, sending the entire troop into a frantic, high-speed retreat through the branches. They leap effortlessly across 20-foot gaps, their long tails helping them maintain balance as they crash through the foliage. The audio is a chaotic mix of high-pitched chattering, the violent snapping of small branches, and the heavy thud of bodies hitting green platforms. The eagle misses her target by inches, her powerful talons tearing through a cluster of leaves instead, a testament to the split-second margins that dictate survival in this high-velocity environment. On the forest floor far below, the cycle of life is supported by the unseen work of decomposers, a massive army ant column, numbering in the hundreds of thousands, moves across a clearing, creating a living carpet that consumes everything in its path. Grasshoppers, beetles, and small lizards flee in panic as the ants advance. The sound is an intense, continuous, sizzling hiss, the collective noise of millions of tiny bodies moving over dry leaves and the rustle of escaping prey. This constant turning over of organic matter is what keeps the Amazonian soil, which is naturally nutrient-poor, fertile enough to support the massive biomass above it. As the afternoon sun begins to break through the thick canopy once more, creating dramatic shafts of light known as God rays, the jungle shifts into a calmer rhythm. A family of white-faced Saki monkeys travels through the lower canopy, their thick, shaggy coats shaking as they hop from trunk to trunk. They feed on hard-shelled fruits, using their specialized canine teeth to crack them open with a clean, sharp pop. The sound of fruit husks raining down onto the forest floor creates a pleasant, natural percussion that blends with the endless background hum of the cicadas. In a quiet, mud-rimmed oxbow, lake separated from the main river channel, a massive arapaima, one of the largest freshwater fish in the world, surfaces to breathe air. Its armored, prehistoric body, flecked with bright red scales near its tail, breaks the surface with a loud, resonant gulp that echoes across the still water. It swallows a pocket of air before sinking back down into the murky depths, its massive tail leaving a large, swirling vortex on the surface. This unique adaptation allows the arapaima to survive in low-oxygen waters where other fish would suffocate, a prime example of Amazonian evolutionary ingenuity. Near the lake edge, where the forest transitions into an open swamp, A wattled jackanap protects its nest built on floating vegetation. When a yellow anaconda slides through the reeds, the bird executes a dramatic distraction display, spreading its wings to reveal bright yellow feathers and letting out a sharp, metallic cackling cry. The snake, focused on a larger prey item out of sight,